answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. Please do me a big favor. Do yourself a favor. Do the world a favor. Take your head out of the oven. It's going to be okay. Shut the oven door. Look around. Yes, shit has hit the fan, but there are solutions. Prepping, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have a plan. Have your faith. We can get through this with intelligent thought. Now, once we conclude that we're responsible for ourselves, well, also hit that subscribe, like, and also the little teeny bell. There's a bell there. It's down over there. It's a little notification bell. We put out a lot of notifications, folks, letting you know what's going on. We post material that just pops up, and that notification will let you know to go get it. Now, this control of information, this useful spreading of information is what is going to save us, and help us help others. Now, understand the Prepared Mind Network is not the only one out there. We know that. We're not that arrogant, folks. We're just a couple of people here, but we talk to other groups and other people. Now, interestingly, on Tucker TV, which is like there's just a couple of people on Fox that actually do news and opinion and actual thinking. Tucker's one of them, so I call it Tucker TV on Fox. He had a conservative, Naomi Wolf, on there, and she fired a big warning. It's a false flag warning, folks. It's a black swan warning. Now, going back to the old movie, The Wizard of Oz, they got themselves all worked up. Dorothy and the lion and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow. One had no courage. One had no brain, right? And one didn't have a heart, right? Scarecrow, no brain. The lion had no courage, and the Tin Man wanted a heart. We all need those things, folks. We need to take heart. We need to use our brains, and we need to have courage. Silly, what appears to be a children's movie, some entertainment, has some very useful thoughts, right? And so they started singing, lions and tigers and bears, oh my, lions and tigers and bears. And they're scared to death, right? Because they're working themselves into a frenzy. We don't have to do that. This isn't fear porn, but it's paying attention to history and what has been happening, not only 10 and 20 and 30 years ago in history, but recent history is also telling us what is coming. We can use our brain, take our head out of the oven and have courage, take heart. We can figure this out and we can be prepared for it because, folks, it won't be fun, but at least we can understand. So yes, false flag or black swan, if you will. And the false flag warning coming from Naomi Wolf is that there is a huge defeat for the Democrats coming in the midterm elections in November. She says that won't be allowed. They can't afford to lose their grip, their power on Washington, D.C. Right? They have the bureaucracy. They have the Supreme Court. Yeah, they really do. They have the White House, and they can't afford to lose Congress, which is the Senate and the House of Representatives. They can't afford to lose that. So she says, look for an impending, a coming emergency to unfold. Now, this is where we look, you and I, and we don't scream lions and tigers and bears, oh my. We say, okay, what is the possibility? What have they told us? How have they shown us their playbook? The answer is yes. And we'll go back to the most recent example. Just the last 2 months, the government of the United States of America, through its mouthpieces, Biden and Raggedy Ann, Jen Psaki, the peppermint communist, they've been screaming that Russia is going to commit false flags, false flags, false flags, right, to try and blame the West and hurt everyone. False flags. meaning you attack yourself and use that as an excuse. Use it as an excuse to claim an emergency has happened. And when emergencies happen, what have we learned in recent history? That's right. The Constitution doesn't matter. In an emergency, the government takes for itself the mantle of godlike power and just excuses the entire Constitution away. You have no First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. You have no rights. You have no right to travel, to own property, to go to work, to buy food, nothing. That's what we're talking about here. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. They need their emergency powers. So Naomi Wolf is saying, look out. And I think she's right. We've talked about it. So what could this emergency be? And how can we as preppers be prepared with the necessary items to deal with it? Well, you can get those items at thepreparedmind.club, C-L-U-B. I recommend going there and looking around as much as I recommend hitting the notification bell once you're subscribed. This is how the game is played, folks. This is how it works. This is what they're doing to us. Russia started screaming back false flag also to show the world how ridiculous it looked. Now Ukraine is doing it to Russia and Russia is doing it to Ukraine. We all know that that's what they do. Governments, they create an emergency so the people are hurt and they demand something be done, and then the government offers its own solution. Well, the solution they want to offer is we need to suspend the elections. We need to create a new election system, modify it to help everybody. So we've got to have an emergency for that to happen. So they create the emergency, the false flag. What could it be? Well, again, very recent. The most recent playbook was executed by China to create an emergency. Cerveza bug, let's lock everyone down again. And they're locking down tens and hundreds of millions of people. Remember, China has 1.4 billion people. So they're locking it down. And it's having a political, economic effect that is desired. They say, how do we hurt Europe and America? For hurting our good buddy, Russia. Now, China's supposed to be our buddy too, but no, they're more buddies with Russia. So they say, how can we hurt America? So they create an emergency. Cerveza bug. They tell the people that's how we're going to fix the problem. They scare everyone and say we're going to fix the problem. It's not even a good emergency. We know how this one works. We know it's bullshit, but they don't care. All they need is the excuse and the claim of an emergency. The same way in Miami-Dade, the United States of America, the mayor of Miami says, we've got a state of emergency over housing expenses, the cost of housing. So they create an economic problem in Miami. And then they say we've got an emergency to help the people, and then we're going to take actions. Right? How is that going to help us? By taking my money to give to them all the way over in Florida, right? And yeah. I mean, Florida can't tax me where I'm at. They, can't tax. They do it. They raise taxes. They put out special fees. Everybody has to share equally. That's communism, folks. Everybody has to help those who can't help themselves. That's communism, folks. Everybody must suffer for the stupid decisions of a few. That's communism. So China showed us emergency. Let's do it. So yeah, in America, guess who's come back? He said, well, we all got to kind of accept our own risks in life. But, it's not popular. But he's going to prescribe it anyways. They could shake off here in America the old cerveza bug again, come up with a new variant, something that sounds scary. Maybe have some people appear on video in the hospital, they're sick and dying. Because, people do die of the flu, folks. People do die from colds. People die from simple infections. People die from all kinds of things. The media just has to make it seem bigger and scarier than it ever was. And they can bring that back. That can be the false flag. How about the big one, the one that Klaus Schmidt, the Schmidt head, which one does he want? He wants the cyber attack. Right? They're talking about the cyber attack on banking here. You bet, folks, they want the big cyber attack so they can get their new money system in. That's a big enchilada there, folks. If they think they're going to lose their power, they may use that one. There could also be a cyber attack on our power grid as we roll into summer and things get hot. You bet, folks, we can have all kinds of false flags. Now, the other thing they can do is have Antifa go nuts with Black Lives Matter, BLM Marxists. Once again, communists, folks. Both those groups, Antifa and BLM, are communists. They can have them go hog wild. Absolutely hog wild, folks. As I sit here in Studio A, they can go hog wild and start burning, looting, and murdering. Not to mention all the other crimes they commit. Assault, rape, theft, destruction of public property, destruction of private property, interference with commerce, obstructing justice, assaulting police. And that can be the false flag that interrupts, that scares people, that allows the bad guys to get away with what they're doing. Now, remember, what they do is they'll create a distraction over there. And the mainstream media will say, look over there. Look at that distraction. Look at how dangerous that is. Look at that. Look at that terrible emergency event. While over here, they're sneaking boxes in the back door. They're sneaking votes in. They're having a good old time playing their game over here while playing a different game over there to keep our eye up there. Yeah, the Ukraine war, people, their appetite, it's going away. And I really am sick of seeing Ukraine flags being flown, ribbons tied, stickers put on cars. People have no idea what they're supporting, folks. And I'm hoping on hope that these are just socialist idiots putting out the Ukraine flags. Because the information's in our face, folks. The entire Ukraine war is an instigated war. It is itself a giant false flag. Could the false flag, the emergency on emergency that scares America and Europe, be so real that it works? Could they antagonize Putin? Could they actually send American jets or tanks across the border into Ukraine, or maybe into Belarus, or into some other country, and piss off Russia and start a skirmish, a military skirmish with Russia? A real, folks, war. It's possible. When all else fails, they love to go to war. America's kind of bored with this Ukraine thing, right? If we really cared, shouldn't we already have troops there? Or is it really a bunch of crap that looks like a war, that is causing the loss of life, the destruction of property, and the invasion of Ukraine by Russia? Because they were antagonized to the point that they finally did that. And it did serve a political purpose. Yes, it did. It has caused the world to divide very hard along some very hard lines. It interrupted the energy supply of Europe. And they have till next fall to get it fixed in Europe, folks, when their energy demands go through the roof because of cold winter. And remember what they said. Put on a sweater. There's a solution to your false flag. Put on a sweater. That'll fix things. That'll make you warm. No, you're going to need more than a sweater. You're going to need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense, because it's coming. Thank you for the warning, Naomi Wolf. Thank you, Tucker TV. And thank you to the Prepared Mind crowd for supporting us through Patreon. There's a link. There's a Patreon link up there. And there's also a PayPal link and CashApp. And I want to thank all of you for supporting our work, for sharing these videos and helping others get prepared. Right? I'm not afraid of lions and tigers and bears. I'm concerned about the lies coming from government and the antics, the false flags that they use to control the world. The only thing we can do is write them, call them, text them, email them, and say, stand up for the Constitution. And then also we can get prepared and help one another. And that is the mission on this program. Get prepared. use the preparedmind.club. That's your store. It's there for you. If you don't use it, you don't use it. Right? But we do all we can to make everything available. Medicine, you can get cerveza bug medicine at the preparedmind.club by going through a real doctor. We have the links. You can get self-defense items. You can get Armageddon chow, food, storage, long-term food. And everything, folks, is getting more expensive. Like it or not. Everywhere it's getting more expensive. So do what you can. Godspeed to you. Semper Fi. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. We need to be prepared for the lies that are coming, folks. I'll see you soon.